Hello and welcome to HealthAfrik on AAU TV, brought to you by the Association of African Universities. So we are here at the renowned Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, where a 4-day STEM fair dubbed Science Intense 2023 is being organized for junior high school students. You know, this institution has been at the forefront of medical research, and as part of their activities, they are here inspiring the next generation to pursue careers in the STEM fields. My name is Isabella Tetahinakwa. Join me as we explore this fascinating and inspiring event.
If you look at this STEM fair, we have children from the government schools, those with limited resources. What we want to do is to whip their interest in STEM. We want them to know that the world that we are going, STEM is very crucial. And sometimes we have a lot of myths. So we want to use this opportunity, bringing the infrastructure within the Noguchi laboratory into the tents. And we have collaborators from Europe, we have people from Edinburgh, we have scientists from Amsterdam, and we have also even the University of Ghana, the engineering department. They are all joining Noguchi, that we can demystify science to make science simple to these less endowed children so that they will embrace science, because we know that the world is changing and STEM is becoming the center of our daily lives. And so that's what we want to do.
What inspired me to be here is the fact that Noguchi is the institution that was held during the coronavirus breakthrough, and I was desperate to come here and look at the environment and learn more about science and influence my friends at home and even my brothers. To impact my community members and my friends at school, in fact the whole school, positively, that science is not a difficult subject.
My passion for science and then my pursuit of knowledge inspired me to come here today. I'm expected to be equipped with skills and knowledge which I'll find relevant in my future pursuits in the field of science. I aspire to be either an astronaut or a neurosurgeon. This fair is going to equip me the basic skills and knowledge I'll need to become an astronaut. My role model is Isaac Newton. He inspired me because I find a lot in common with him. A lack of social skills and not being understood by anyone. Furthermore, was a genius that knew how to apply science in his life. Cool. I'll share with friends and family all that I've learned during this trip to visit to science. So, now I'd like to share my experience to inspire us to come to this.
We will now take you through the journey of your sample, from sample collection and transportation to local laboratories, initial sample analysis and processing in the labs, and storage and
the tent, we are introducing the kids to genomics. They are currently extracting DNA from banana. When they finish, they are also going to look at how the DNA is arranged in any organism. And they are also going to make their own DNA, form a band and wear it. We want to just conscientize them on what genetics or genomics is and how important. We're also telling them about how the genes are implicated in drug resistance, specifically for malaria, and how human genetics can interact with the parasite genetics to inform the kind of complex disease or our susceptibility to diseases like malaria, any other form of disease, maybe kidney diseases, which is an area we've also looked at. So in a gist, we target the genome to understand how it predisposes us to diseases, specifically parasitic diseases and malaria.
I'm here today for the VISA public engagement event. So we're trying to engage pupils from junior high schools and to get them to be interested in science and in STEM in general. So in our tent we were doing exhibitions for biology. So we tried to show them the basic ideas that underlie biology. So we have DNA, genes, evolution, and then we have, for example, we wanted to show them cells in real life. We think it's just, for example, in my case, when I was really young, I went into science because I saw astronauts in TV. Some other scientists went to school and showed me when I was around 8 years old. They showed me real science at school. So we think we can try and engage people from younger age to get into science through this mechanism. And I think the problem is often sometimes you might not think that science is very complicated, that it's really far away from you, but we are trying to show that you can do it at home, you can do it with very simple things, and there's not everything that you do every day when you're looking into something is a sort of science.
We are working on the spread of different viruses. So they're doing actually their first calculations on epidemiology right now, which means that we can see the spread of viruses. We have noticed during the pandemic that virus spread is something very fundamental to our society. So it would be interesting for them to see how such a virus is able to spread. And with this, they're taking their first steps to get to know that. Yeah.
They learned some basic programming. Looks like these children have almost zero programming experience. So usually we start with block-based programming. So we did a little bit of pixel blocks, and they programmed a sprite to do some basic actions. And after that, the next 30 minutes, they were also introduced to robotics, which we use the MBOT robot. It's a really powerful robot, and they were able to identify some of the parts, and then they controlled it with their tablets. So they wrote some few programs to test the robot. We all know technology is the future, right? And having a strong foundation in STEM is an add-on. Regardless of whatever occupation that you choose, there will always be something related to STEM in that particular institution. So having a STEM background, I don't know, it's beneficial in a holistic manner, and only God knows how far it can take these students.
Right now we are taking them through the whole concept of genomics. We are teaching them the fundamentals of DNA and genes, and how information in gene is translated into proteins, and how this affects different traits. The impact of genes on different aspects of our bodies, growth, diseases, and function of the whole human system. Basically, that's what we are teaching them. It's of immense benefit to the student to understand these concepts at this very young age, because almost everything about life starts with the DNA. The DNA is what gives instructions to the organism, the cells, which are the basic functional units of life, to behave and function in a particular way. And so teaching them these very fundamental principles and concepts broadens their understanding in the field of biology and science, and it helps them to later on appreciate what other aspects of science that they can go into in terms of career options. For example, medicine, all the medical sciences rely heavily on the concepts that we are teaching them here. And it goes on, different things like biotechnology. These are all rooted in the basic understanding of the functions of genes and genomes. And so it's going to help them to appreciate these concepts, and even help them later decide the kind of career path to go into. We'll be so glad. We are hoping that they will take inspiration from this, and hopefully inspire some of these young ones to go into science and become scientists and become researchers or medical doctors or engineers or other things.
My research interest is in finding new and innovative ways of mosquito control and control of the diseases they transmit. So my lab, the Mosbiome lab, is using bacteria mediation. So the bacteria or the symbionts that are in the stomachs of mosquitoes is what we are using to find new ways and new mechanisms of disrupting the growth of Plasmodium inside the mosquitoes before they can bite another person to infect them. So what we are teaching the children today is, first of all, understand malaria transmission. So we've taken them through the malaria cycle. We've also taken them through the cycle of the development of mosquitoes from egg to adult, so they appreciate the environmental cues that go into the development of mosquitoes in the field. And now the activities they are doing right now is actually doing an RDT test. So we want to show them how to test for malaria using microscopy and the RDT technique, which is the rapid diagnostic test. Then we also have the other group, which we are calling the entomology group, because we are an entomology lab. We want to show the children identification of mosquitoes, how to appreciate collection of mosquitoes from the environment when an outbreak occurs. So we've actually created a problem for them in a pseudo village where malaria broke out, and they have to go and investigate as a team. So the entomology team is investigating which mosquito is actually causing the malaria. And then next, we are going to all sit down as a group of public health officers, putting together the results from the lab and the results from the entomologists to try and devise ways of helping the community to eradicate or bring down the incidence of malaria.
VISA is Vacation Initiatives in Science Africa. We are just an NGO in Ghana that aims to promote STEM among young individuals. Mostly our targets are on the junior high schools and those going into junior high schools. And so we've been to several schools in the Eastern region and the Greater Accra, trying to encourage people to do science, because there's this whole thing about science being difficult and for learned people. So we just, through fun activities, promoting STEM in these individuals to encourage them that everyone can do science.
Today is the fourth and last day of the Science Intense 2023, organized by the Vacation Initiatives in Science Africa, that is VISA, in collaboration with the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research. It has been a remarkable event filled with enthusiasm and passion for science and technology. We also witnessed some of the students engaging in experiments and also discussions with the professionals and scientists. We'll be speaking with some of the students for them to share their experiences with us. Stay tuned.
STEM education is very important, and I think we've all recognized it. Everybody's talking about STEM education now. The reason is STEM education provides our learners with the critical skills that are needed for problem solving of the future. And so we need to get our young people prepared to be able to address real issues in life. What does it take to do that? The way we teach STEM right now is not helping us, right? So it's more theory and less of the practical. However, our learners need to acquire skills, and these are the main challenges. Having the necessary infrastructure to be able to do that, even the consumables for practical experiments, laboratory space, the teachers. If a teacher is not taught to be able to teach in a certain way, they are not suddenly going to get up and start doing the things that are expected of them. So we also need our teachers, integrated into a new system of teaching where we focus more on a practical application instead of just the theoretical memorization of facts. First of all, they need to be oriented to be ready to receive it. We need to promote curiosity. Our young people need to be curious, and we need to encourage them to be curious. There are certain environments where they are not allowed to even ask questions. If you are not allowed to ask questions, how do you explore? How do you show curiosity towards the things that you find around you? So we need to encourage curiosity, and we need to promote curiosity. We also need to have the idea that failure is not the end of everything. We learn through failure. We need to be more accepting of failure, because it's through our failures, hopefully in a controlled environment of the school, that we learn so that we don't make the bigger mistakes when we are out there in the real world. And even out there in the real world, we need to be able to build on failures in order to be able to to make progress. What I advise is for them to expose themselves to as many experiences as possible. It is by experiencing different things that they get to figure out what they are good at and what they actually enjoy. And so internships, following a professional around for a day, that is very eye-opening. Or even coming to a program like the Science Intense, where they get to interact with people who are actually doing the things that they may want to do and finding out what they do firsthand. Practically involving themselves in some of these things will help them. So investing in opportunities beyond the classroom learning, that will help.
Looking at how things are going now, the system looks like it is changing from the old way of doing things, and we are getting a new environment. And therefore, it is very important that we bring our children together so that they are educated on the way forward in terms of science education. And that is why we bring them together for this event. Previously, what we used to do is we teach science in abstract. We just draw things on board and then teach them anyhow. But I think that bringing them here, myself, this is the first time I'm coming here. So as it's the first time we are all gathering at this place, there's a very big opportunity for my children to know that learning of science, as we were told from our earlier discussion, it is in our environment. But we need things like this to help us learn science. So I think this is a very good platform for them to learn. From what we'll be learning today, we'll be sure that from now going, we are not going to learn in abstracts again. We put things together from our environment, apply them to our daily lives, and then we are able to go. So that is what we'll be doing from now.
I always remind our lovely students that in every decade or century, something new happens. We have seen the era of information technology, the era of computer revolution. We are in the era of artificial intelligence. And I like to reiterate this analysis by McKinsey Global Institute that by the year 2030, which is just about 7 years from now, as many as 800 million jobs worldwide will be lost to automation due to advancements in artificial intelligence and technology, which means that the future of technology is now. So we need to prepare our children.
Here we have, as part of the Vacation Initiatives Science, our School of Engineering Sciences tent. Kwame Nkrumah knew that for Ghana to develop, we needed engineers to help build this nation. And so I trained as a civil engineer at KNUST, and I remember that in most of the halls in the School of Engineering there, we had some halls named after some white people. And Kwame Nkrumah intentionally brought these people to help develop the workforce, the human resource of the nation, engineers, to be able to help build Ghana and make Ghana a better place. And so I believe that engineers build the nation. And so we want these students to grow up knowing what engineering is all about. We want them to understand that as they are in their basic school and in the junior and the senior high schools, they need to take their mathematics and science seriously because everything they see around us is engineering, and they need to take their studies seriously to be able to come at this level to do engineering. I also agree that at this level, they don't really seem to understand much of what they really want to do. But we believe that giving them a feel of what engineering is all about can already help them to be able to begin to orient themselves and probably see what kind of inclinations they have, their interest, their passion, and to be able to know where exactly to channel their efforts to in order to excel at this level, to give them the platform to join us here at the School of Engineering Sciences, University of Ghana.
We are a bacteriology department, so we deal with infections of public concern that are caused by bacteria. We currently have quite a number of projects ongoing. We are doing some research into gonorrhea infections, into Bruley ulcer, an emerging one. We are having some on tuberculosis, diarrhea, and quite a number of them. We just want to introduce them into our basic procedures and our mandates as a department. So if there is an infection or a pandemic or an outbreak, so to speak, we seek to, first of all, isolate or get the samples. For instance, if For tuberculosis, we'd have to get the sputum sample. If it's a diarrhea infection, we are having a lot of people running all over. We get their stool sample. We could also take oral swabs, nasal swabs, and so we just want to isolate the bacteria causing the infection. Then we bring them to our labs and we culture them to single out the infection that is causing the bacteria. We have a lot of biochemical tests and computerized ways of identifying the bacteria. After that, we proceed to the antimicrobial susceptibility testing. That's trying to figure out the best antibiotic available that is best in clearing the infection. So we have different kinds of media, we have antibiotic disc. After we have come out with that result, which is come out with a drug that is best in clearing the infection, we proceed and give that information to the public or the health worker so that they give a prescription to the patient. We also do further analysis or investigation with the samples, what we term as whole genome sequencing. That's we go into the DNA of the bacteria, understanding what it is in it that is causing an infection. In case the bacteria is not able to, or the antibiotics we have previously were clearing the infection, but now they are not. We assume the bacteria have attained some special qualities. We try to find out what they are and the best we can do to make our drugs work for the patients. I think the kids, most of them have showed quite an interest in STEM. So first of all is to give them a hand of the mandate of Noguchi as a research institution and the importance of what we do in the public health generally and even globally. And it will inspire them for them to know that, yes, it's a field that is open for them to join as well. So
I learned many things. And then one of the things that I learned was the 46 chromosomes. That is 23 are inherited by our father, and then 23 is inherited by our mother. And then also the DNA. I learned many things here and it's very excited. And then in the future I want to be an automobile engineer. So I will encourage everyone to, be determined on what he or she will do. Thank you to Noguchi and Visa for giving us the platform to learn about STEM.
Today I learned a lot about bacteria, and I learned that a bacteria which causes cholera is called Vibrio cholerae, and also the gram iodine is a mordant to the crystal virus. I'm very happy because today I have learned a lot. I never thought I would be here to learn such a thing. I'm very happy, and thank you to the Noguchi Memorial for bringing us here to learn.
This fair is going to help them in so many ways. I mean, they are being introduced to the application of science, what they've learned in their school. So it will give them real life experience of what they've learned about science. And it will, motivate them to love and want to do science more. I believe that when students are learning science and it's more practical and they really relate and understand it, they get to love it more. So we try as much as we can to make the science more practical and more relatable to them so that they will be encouraged to pursue it. At the end of the day, I expect that the students will be motivated to pursue science the more, and at the end of the day they will get to know that science is fun and they will love it. My last word is that parents should encourage their kids to pursue science the more, because science is the future. And I also entreat the government and the other social corporates and the public to also invest in science, because that's the future, and tech as well, because in the era we are about to enter, especially in AI, it's either you work for one or you work with one or you become a slave to one of it. So I think it's a good venture for us to invest much in it so that it will be relevant and benefits all of us.
Thank you for joining us to explore this educative event. Indeed, this STEM firm has provided a platform to ignite the young students to pursue careers in STEM fields. Remember, science knows no boundaries. My name is Isabella Tetanhinakwa, and this has been HealthAfrik. See you again in our next episode. Bye.